Hello, everybody, and welcome to Halloween.
Are you going bananas? You're going bananas.
Bnow coffee chat with today. I am Nana Banana. Okay. And this is my Nana Banana costume genie that I teach piano with. And I play with the kids. Nana Banana. And you look like a pioneer woman. Woo,
yeah.
Adventure. That sounds just like.
Well, that actually, I've missed the mark then. I was hoping for like a French look, but maybe a French pioneer. Oui.
Anyway, so here we are. Halloween is coming on, and
today is actually Halloween, the 31st. It's Halloween, and I started thinking about, Cindy.
Yes.
How did this whole Halloween thing start? And it actually started about 2,000 years ago.
Tell the story.
Well, it has its roots back in paganism, where people were celebrating Samhain. And that was like looking for, favor with your crops and your cattle and all of that, and trying to do away with the evil spirits. And so one of the popes also came in and said that this is a great time to honor all the saints. So it was known as All Saints Day. And in Mexico, as you know, because you have heritage, yeah, and then I've spent a great deal of time there, and so has my husband. But they have El Dia de Muerta, de los Muertos, of the Day of the Dead. And so, there is this convoluted type of thing that, in so many of our, Christmas and other holidays that we do. In fact, April Fool's Day, I don't know if you know this or not, but it was changing to the Gregorian calendar. And so the beginning, because it was the natural type of beginning, was going to be April 1st for other things, because it had to do with planting and crops and stuff like that. Well, the Gregorian calendar started at January 1st. And so people who were celebrating on April 1st were called April Fools. So there's just a big thing, but now we try to scare each other, and we give out treats and tricks and stuff like that. So I just thought it would be an interesting topic.
It is fun. Halloween is fun. It's also dark.
It is.
So it's an opportunity for the darkness to celebrate amongst those that are dancing in the light, and that's something to remember, because Samhain, which is spelled Samhaim, is the time when the Celts would celebrate harvest. And so in the Catholic religion, which I was raised Catholic, you have Halloween on the last day of October. And then November 1st is All Saints Day. That's the All Saints Day. And you go to church, and they have a belief system that when you die, if you're not in full grace, you go to a place called purgatory, which is kind of jail with parole.
With visitation rights.
Yeah. So in other words, you will get out of purgatory at some point. When you go to hell, sorry, that's eternal. But purgatory is, you get a reprieve at some point. And so the belief is that you go to church and you pray for a relative that's passed that might not have quite made it to heaven, but they were basically good. And so they're not really in hell. So they're in purgatory. So you would say a prayer, and on that particular day, and guess what? They'd shoot up to heaven. So that's
no idea of this story. Wow.
So that's so when you have the Dia de los Muertos, or de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, that, if you've seen the movie Coco, that's what that's about, is honoring your ancestors and them being a kind of a holding place, but you honor them and they're still in your memory. Because if you think, another thing to think about with the Day of the Dead part, which is the biggest part of this celebration of Halloween, is that your ancestors, I mean, how they say, I kind of know about my great grandmother, but my great great, nope. Or great great great, nope. Great 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 great, nope. So it's something to remember that we're here after generations and generations and generations of women, because they're who delivered us. The daddies would come and go, but the women who delivered us, the powerful women. And it's also a time when you can playfully be creative, like my Nana Banana and your beautiful hat there, where you can be something that you normally are not. That's fun. That's a lot of fun.
It is. It is. And I know that there are, and of course, I'm truly well versed in religion, not so much Catholicism, but, I've been to 2 seminaries. I am a unity minister.
Right.
And, there are many religions that preach against, well, you're just worshiping the devil if you dress up for Halloween. It was like, that's a stretch for me.
Right.
But, we all bring our own beliefs and our own fears and so on. And, I don't know about you, but we always had a great time as kids. We would go out, we would dress up, we would,
Right.
we would take big grocery sacks or even pillowcases and just fill it.
That's better, because sometimes those paper sacks can rip, and that really is not good.
Oh, that just stinks. Yeah. When I was a little kid, there was a very dignified, and I thought he was old, but he was probably in his 20s or 30s or something. And, we called him a Mr. And I'm not going to say his last name. It doesn't matter. But when the kids would come at Halloween, he had a silver tray and he had an array of dimes, which, I mean, you could get a piece of candy for a penny. That's how old I am.
Yeah.
And so, it was like getting 10 pieces of candy. And he would offer, everyone got to take 1 dime. It was very generous. It was quite the opportunity to see things done with style, grace, and respect.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, it just never left me how he went against the norm and offered us
Gave away dimes. Wow. Boy, now you have to give away a $5 bill.
I know. It's like, really? Yeah, it's crazy. But I think that these holidays are so interesting.
They are.
And especially, when we come into the seasonal changes, here in Texas, we are just now starting to see the seasonal changes. It's been in the, 106, 108, 110 range, for the past several months. It's been brutal. And just recently, it's been in the high 80s, the mid 90s, but it's dropping down, into the 60s and stuff. And we get so excited because
the contrast.
There really is. So I just, what did you, I'm going to tell a little story about my son. And he was always, very, and still is very generous. So I had remarried and my husband and I had moved out to this place outside of Dallas, nice new neighborhood. And my ex-husband, now the one who died, he had 3 children and they were pretty, self-serving. They had a lot of money, but they were pretty self-serving. Well, my son Michael and his little friend had gone out trick-or-treating. And I mean, they came back just dragging these big, pillowcases full of candy. And when they got back, we had actually run out of candy because that was how many kids there were. And believe me, I bought a lot. And so Michael looked at that and he went, oh, well, let me fix that. And he just emptied his bag of candy into the big things. And my husband at that time, he went, what? He said, my kids would never do that. And I said, well, I didn't tell them to do it, but I think that everything, Cindy, is an opportunity for us to, enjoy, do the right thing. I'm not saying not sharing would have been the wrong thing. I really don't have any judgment about that. But that particular incident just stuck with me so much because it was just natural.
That's beautiful. And that has a lot to say about you.
Well, thank you. We learn what we see, don't we?
Exactly.
We don't necessarily learn what we hear.
Right. Exactly.
But
I remember being at the chicken farm in San Angelo, and this little boy was celebrating his birthday and at the chicken farm and had all these presents. And his mother looked at me and she said, we're taking all of these toys to the shelter. That's what he wants to do with his birthday presents.
Wow.
5 years old.
Telling
5 years old. Yeah. And he wanted to take those presents to the family shelter. And I'll never forget that. And especially the look in his eyes, because his eyes were full of light, just full of light. Right. And I believe, Jeannie, that there's a lot of the children coming in right now. You see that bright light in them.
Oh, yeah.
And like my youngest grandchild, Adeline, she can talk. She turned 1 in June and she's talking.
Wow.
Yeah. So that, I'm seeing things like that, like on Facebook or where people are showing these babies that are just alert. And here I am.
I saw a little thing on Facebook. Maybe it was TikTok or I don't use TikTok, but it was
something happened. Yeah.
Lovely. And it just happened to be a lovely Black couple and holding up this brand new little boy. And he was just like holding his head up. He was just looking around and the guy is going like, what are you doing?
Right.
Look at him. He is holding his head up and it's like, oh yeah, I've been there before. Yeah.
I saw that.
I just think that is so extraordinary.
It is extraordinary. It is extraordinary. And these children are bright and they know God. They are in total alignment. If a baby or a toddler loves you or smiles at you or waves at you, like at the grocery store, I've had that happen. This daddy was holding this little baby, a toddler, maybe 1 or 2 years old. And I saw that went like this and just waved at me. And I waved back. And all I could think of is, I love children so much, the little tiny children, because I know how close they are to God, as you know. That's why I like to be Nana Banana, because they just came from the other side and they have this knowledge. So to me, it was a supreme compliment. That baby saw something in me and I waved back. And since that happened, I do it all. It happens all the time now. I always wave back. They look at me like I know something. And all I know is how powerful they are. That's all.
Well, one of the things that I do with babies and children, especially like in a grocery store or in a controlled environment, a park or whatever, is that if they notice me, I'll look at them and I will send out the colors of my aura, like rainbows of light.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. And they can see it.
They can.
Yes, they can.
And they can feel it. And so, it's kind of like if we get back to like the costumes, your Nana Banana, it just makes us smile. Well, it does, that you are willing to surround yourself in this beautiful, silly banana costume. Because
I love being Nana Banana because I can go into character with kids and they just love it. Now, I did have a dog costume that wasn't fun because they all pull on you.
Oh, yeah.
Banana, kids love Banana. So anyway, and I get to go into that character of being Banana. And
so let me ask you, do you dress up when you go to the door and pass out candy?
Absolutely. I have every year I do it.
Okay.
Every year that I've ever, because, well, not every year, but pretty much that's what I do. I spend a lot of the first Halloweens, my oldest grandson, I would never miss a Halloween with him. And I have a big Merlin hat that I would wear, or I wear the Merlin hat, or I have a goddess costume that I had as well. So we always would dress up, he and I, and pass out candy, because to him, passing out the candy was more fun than going to get it.
There you go.
Which I think is interesting. And you can't, I mean, it's so precious when those little ones show up in like the mermaid costume.
Oh, yes.
And they just think that or the princess costume, and they just feel so pretty. I love Halloween in its light form. But we also need to remember that this is also a time for the darkness to take advantage of being that as well, which it is. And it, like right now they're talking about, when we were kids, I remember they would talk about razor blades and apples and stuff like that. Remember that? And now they're talking about sweet tarts and fentanyl, and they're again promoting fear instead of making it fun. So yay for us who see the light in this holiday of dressing up as a character and being that character for one night. Good for us. And sharing candy, good for us, because we are the light workers and we're doing this in the light. And that's something that's really important, Jeannie, right now. For instance, there's so much symbology that's been stolen. And I won't go into all of it but there's beautiful symbols like hearts, that have double meanings that are negative, right? And they think they're so clever because they go, ha, 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 you don't know what that means. And ha, 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 you don't know what that means. And ha, 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 you don't know what that means. But we're going to stick it in your face. And we've learned about symbology, and it's important that we don't let them rob our spiral or our rainbow or our double hearts from being precious symbols, because they've turned them into ugly symbols, right? To me, the way that your perception is with anything is, that's up to you. That's on you. So just because somebody believes, for instance, maybe that a cute little puppy means whatever, I don't know what, you know what I'm saying. I'm going to celebrate the cute little puppy, and smell the little.
Choose.
Yeah.
We get to choose.
We get to choose that. And so many things in our world are distorted right now. And that's what Halloween reminds me of, is it doesn't have to be. Just because a group of people take advantage of the darkness of Halloween, right? And we know that goes on. What we need to do is be the light in Halloween, be the light in the jack-o'-lantern, be the light in banana, in handing out candy, and seeing the little princess feel so pretty in her princess outfit. That's what
always, all the kids, and even you get the older kids who are not in costume, but they're showing up, and I just go, hey, and I sometimes I'll say, can I take your picture? But
exactly.
I always ask the parents too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I want to be some kind of creepy old person.
Exactly. The creepy person. Yeah, exactly. And that's what we need to remember. We can make anything beautiful or make anything ugly,
Yes.
especially with symbology, you know. Well, I like to point out one thing for women to remember is the ugly old witch. That ugly old witch was probably the wisest woman in town with her cauldron, you know, her cauldron. Yeah, those were healing herbs, right?
We can't have that. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
but the ugly old witch, the crone, was the wise woman. The hag was the goddess woman, right? So for all of us women, guess what? Every day you're getting a little bit older, but you're also getting a whole lot wiser. And that's the value that we have, women with experience. And it's important that we remember that and that we try to show by example, like what we talked about before. You don't want to be the, you want to be the light. You want to be the, I used to tell my children all the time, you can either go through the pain like I did, or you can take my word for it that that's not going to turn out well. But it's your journey. So you can, it's like go and collect $200 on Monopoly. You can go that route, or you can go the other route and you'll learn the lesson better. So it's really a better way to learn that lesson. But if you do what I say, you won't have to go through the pain.
Sometimes pain is a great teacher.
And the kids have most of the, you know, especially when they're teenagers, they like to go through the pain.
Yeah.
I guess.
Makes them feel alive, I guess. Oh, God.
Anyway, so what are you going to be the pioneer lady at Halloween this year?
I have no idea. Are you kidding me? I mean, everything is packed pretty much. I found the hat. Yeah, you should see my house. It's just crazy, but that's okay.
I'll be Nana Banana again, and I'll probably have my guitar. That's what I did last year. I had my guitar and I was singing Halloween songs when kids come in. So probably do that again.
How fun. Great. Well, have a happy holiday, everybody. Have a happy Halloween. Just enjoy yourself. Focus on the light. Give thanks for your ancestors. Give thanks for the harvest. I mean, what else is there, Cindy?
That's what we want to do. We want to focus on the joy and the love and the light that we project on this holiday and not the darkness.
That's true.
Ignore the darkness and remember that the light always extinguishes the darkness. There's no power. They have no power.
Nope.
They have no power.
Nope. They don't.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I love you, my friend.
Love you
Hope
too.
you enjoy this. See you next week.